runs and jumps on the Gatling gun. The thing starts spinning, and he's just like...
We would be honored if you would join us.
Annie, get over here. What'd you think of The Mandalorian?
Yes, Master, it was everything I hoped it would be. I can't wait to hear your review.
So,
Oh my god, so cringe. Thank God for editing.
So, what'd you guys think about the first episode? I really liked it. I thought it was pretty sick. Bit underwhelmed as to the fact that it was only 36 minutes long. I was hoping, the pilot would be a little bit longer, but, it is what it is. Before we get to the ending, which is like the biggest... in Star Wars, because we've never actually had that. I'm going to basically talk about from, my impressions of it. So it gives me this Western, kind of space Western feel. And that's, you kind of get that impression with the music. It's like a Star Wars version, a spacey version. The Mando is very cool. He's very hardened. And just overall, he's just bad.
Excuse me.
So the first episode basically starts with these two criminals or thugs, and they're picking on this guy who eventually is a bounty that the Mando has to take in. Long story short, Mando comes into the cantina. The thugs pick on him, saying that you made me spill my drink, when of course they didn't. And he just, wipes them out, takes them out, no problem. And it was pretty dark. It was pretty gruesome. The dude gets like sawed in half, and it was pretty cool. He then throws the puck on the table, and then it, emits a hologram of that dude's head, who he has to take in. So he takes him in. There's some cool CGI stuff with the whole ice and everything. There's like this big walrus-looking sea ice monster that jumps out and attacks the Mando's ship. And of course, he hits him with his gun, electrocutes him, and he lets go. Then the Mando goes to Carl Weathers' character, and he gives him the bounty of all of these bounties that he's collected. And basically, he puts them all in frozen carbonite. So we get a big flashback to episode 5, which was really cool. Now, Carl Weathers' character is named Grief Karga, and he gives him these bunch of like lame bounties. And, the Mando's like, all right, I'll take him. And he's like, wait, I got one better for you. And you might have heard this in my breakdown when we were at Celebration. We actually got to see this scene. So then he says, I've got this bigger bounty for you. However, there's no tracking number. There's nothing. Like, there's nothing you really can know about it. You don't even know what it is or who it is. It's just more of a face-to-face kind of thing. There's no puck that gives you a hologram of what this is all about. So he goes to meet the guy, and he goes through this door, and a big flashback from Jabba's palace in Return of the Jedi. You basically see the TLM, what's the name of it? The TLM 8LY7. And you see that, and it pops out, and it gives him like a security reading. So you get a good flashback there to episode 6. He enters the facility, and we see the door open, a second door open. He enters this room, and there are 4 really weathered looking stormtroopers. Like, these guys, you can tell their armor is super old, and of course, this is after the Empire, so it naturally would be. But they're extremely like dirtied up, cracked up, and just old. So there's this guy sitting behind the table with these 4 stormtroopers, and a scientist walks in. Now the scientist's name is Dr. Parsing, and his enthusiasm outweighs his discretion. So the guy behind the table, played by German director Werner Herzog, says that there is this crazy bounty that he needs him to get. And if his skills are true, then, a man of his status should make easy work of this. Basically, there's no puck, which is like there's no hologram showing like who or what it is. The bounty must be alive. However, if it's dead, they'll offer a much smaller reward. Now, the reward is Beskar, and Beskar is this very, very rare metal that only Mandalorians use. Now, before the Purge, the Mandalorians had entitlement to their ore, to this metal. And this metal was used in their armor, it was used in their weapons, it was everything. It could stop lightsabers, it could stop blasters. It was absolutely amazing, and it was very, very rare and very expensive. So basically, he says that I'm going to give you a crate upon crate of this stuff if you get this bounty for me. There's no puck, there's no information, there's no coordinates or anything like that. All I'm going to give you is this tracking fob, which kind of just beeps as you go closer to it. It's like they're kind of playing, hot or cold the whole time, but in the galaxy. So you can imagine how hard that is. However, he does give him his position between the last location and the fob. The Beskar belongs back in the hands of the Mandalorians. So it's good to restore the natural order of things after such a period of disarray. So then the next scene is pretty cool. We basically get Salacious Crumb. If you guys don't remember, that was like the really annoying creature from Jabba's palace that would always laugh. He was like, and he was just being barbecued on this rotisserie in the market, while another one of his species, called the Kawakian species, was basically just like looking on in fear as his brother or sister was being barbecued on a rotisserie. The next part is really cool. All you Mando fans out there are gonna love this. He goes into this like underground area, and you see the Mandalorian logo, the Mandalorian sign above this door. He goes in, and then he meets this blacksmith. It's this woman, I assume. She's wearing, more female-esque armor. And he gives her the Beskar, and she forges out of it a shoulder plate for him. Now, while the armor is being made, he's actually getting flashbacks of when he was a child. And it turns out he was actually a foundling. And we see glimpses and flashes of the actual Clone Wars, which is where we see the Separatist droids. The super battle droid from the trailer, and his parents actually hid him somewhere in the town where the droids were just destroying killing everyone. So that is his origin story. That's where he's from. He was a child. He was a little boy during the Clone Wars. With his new shoulder plate, he flies to this planet, which looks a lot like Tatooine, but I think, and I could be wrong, it's actually Ryloth. Two beasts attack him. He's saved by someone who's riding, the same species as that beast. Now, this beast is called a blurg. Now, it's this weird-looking dewback type of species. However, there's a cool story to them. They're all female because they eat the males during mating. So there are like no males left, apparently. Or once they mate, they're gone. They're dead. We go through this bit of a quest where the Mando has to learn to ride it. So they ride to the building with the enemies where the bounty is, where the Mando has to go. And this is where our little friend here, who has helped us with our quest, who has helped the Mando with his quest of learning how to ride the blurgs and leading him to his to the facility where all these mercenaries are, these guards are. The place is decked out with high levels of security. I'm talking like he can't even get near the area. So he says goodbye to the guy, and he asks the guy, why are you helping me? And the guy says, I've never met a Mando before, so if the stories about you are true, you should have no problem with this. Ever since these guys came here, ever since this bounty was here, or whatever this thing is that you're trying to get, there's been absolute unrest in the territory. And because of that, I just want it to be gone. Everyone who lives here comes here for peace, not war. So just take care of them, and that'll be payment enough for me. So the Mando was trying to pay him. So he basically, after that, he goes over to the edge of the cliff, and he checks with a telescope what's going on down there. As he sees a droid bounty hunter, IG-11, much like IG-88, is going to just wreak havoc. And obviously he's there sent as a bounty hunter himself to collect whatever it is. So he goes there, and this is one of the coolest scenes in the show. In the first episode, he just starts like going absolutely insane, like twisting, turning. You guys saw it in the trailer. Think that, but like a little bit more, where we get more scenes of it. Blaster bolts are just flying around. He's getting shot at. He's like just taking out dudes. I mean, he makes the Terminator look like an absolute joke, the T-800s. So then eventually the Mando meets up with him. He goes down there, and he shoots the Mando by accident. And he's like, oh, sorry, and I didn't know. And they team up, and they try to just take out these Trandoshan guards. So they eventually do, until the point where they are cornered in at, the door, the gate to where they're supposed to go into the facility is locked behind them, and then in front of them are all these guards with blasters, and eventually a turret gun comes in. So they like wheel this big giant turret gun in, and one of the dudes just gets on there, and he's just shooting the heck out of the Mando and IG-11. After this, there's this bit of a comedic moment where IG-11 is like, I'm going to self-destruct now. I cannot be caught. So it's like he can't be caught because it's against his programming or something. So he keeps like opening his chest piece, and a thermal detonator is there. And then the Mando's like, no, stop it. Don't do that. Don't detonate yourself. Don't self-destruct. And he's like, okay. And then like goes back up. So that happens a few times. Then eventually the Mando says, I have an idea. Draw their fire. So IG-11, goes out, and he draws their fire away, where he gets shot into like a little area in the corner there, but he's okay, he's fine, till the very end. Spoilers, of course. So the Mando peeks out from the side, throws his grip hook to the gun, turns it, and then blasts the dude who's operating it. Kills him, runs and jumps on the Gatling gun. The thing starts spinning, and he's just like freaking killing everyone. Wipes them absolutely out. Then IG-11 is just like chilling there, like kind of dead. But, he asks, Mando asks him, like, are you okay? Are you fine? Are you going to die? And he's like, let me check my central nervous system or whatever. And he checks himself before he wrecks himself. And then he's just like, no, you know what? It didn't hit my central parts. I'm fine. I'm okay. So they're like, how are we going to enter the door? And this part was sick, okay? So they just look at each other. How are we going to enter the door? And then they look at the Gatling gun, and then you just see the inside of the wall. And it's just getting blasted to like smithereens, just destroyed. So the door opens, or they blast through it. They walk in, and they kill one of the last guards in there that like pops out of a corner. And the place is kind of just like a little junkyard. It's like there's just like random stuff in there. But on the left, there is this capsule pod looking thing. Like the thing looks like it's from Dragon Ball Z. Like it's like an actual pod. You'd like be expecting Vegeta to be in there. The Mando walks over to it, clicks it, and it opens into a half moon. The thing looks like a crib, and you don't know what it is yet, but it looks like a little, like a child or a baby would be in there. They both walk up to it, IG-11 on his right and the Mando, on his left. He's walking, and they both stand in front of it, and they're just looking at it. And we don't know what's in there yet. We're just looking at it. And Mando says, I thought he'd be 50 years old, which is what, the mission briefed him as. IG-11 says that, well, some species age, at different rates than others. So, of course, IG-11 grabs his gun, and Mando's like, no, wait. And then IG-11's like, no, we have to shoot it. That is the mission. And he's like, no, wait, stop. IG-11 grabs his gun again, points, he's just about to shoot, and then we hear a blaster fire as we look at the Mando's helmet. And we think the baby is dead. But then we see IG-11 falls to the ground with a big blaster hole through his head. And then we finally get this like creep up look at what's in the crib, and it is a baby Yoda. Yeah, like you got to see it to believe. I'm hoping most of you have seen it, but if you haven't, all of you guys in Europe that won't be able to see it until March, unfortunately. I don't know why they do that to you, but it is what it is. I'm sorry. Hopefully, you can get something out of this review. It's a baby Yoda species. Now, we don't know what species Yoda is. We've never seen another Yoda species except for the prequels, which was Yaddle, which was a female Yoda. So this baby Yoda was 50 years old. So this baby would have been made 10 to 15 years before episode 1, because there was about 30 or 40 years between episode 1 and episode 4, about 30 years or so. So there's a big story there that we don't know about. Like, how did this baby get made? What is the deal with this? Is it a clone? Did Palpatine create this child? Is that why it's being, hunted down by Imperial guards, or, an Imperial mission, basically? Because the Beskar that he gives him has an Imperial logo on it. And, of course, it's, guarded by stormtroopers. So, clearly, this is an Imperial job. And they hired bounty hunters to take care of this thing. More than one, obviously, since we saw IG-11 there. So they also said, the guy who was helping the Mando, I don't know his name, also said that everyone who has gone there has died. Everyone who has gone to that bounty, to that mission, has died. So there obviously have been many before him. Now we're standing and we're looking at this baby Yoda, and I'm just like, what? Like, what the, like, how does this even, like, what does this mean? Like, is this dude going to show up in episode 9? He's going to be, like, 90 years old and basically a teenager? Or is he just, like, what is the deal? I want to know. And that's where the episode is left off. The Mando is just looking at him. We see the crib. We see the Mando. And he just, like, points his finger out at the child, I guess, for the child to, like, I don't know, grab onto it or something. But that's where it was left. And, dude, I cannot wait for the next episode. Yeah, okay, so the next episode is in a few days. It's on the 15th of November, the same day JFO comes out. So Then the one after that is a week after, which is November 22nd. It goes to December 27th. That is episode 8, and that is the last one, unfortunately. Then we get season 2, which has already been confirmed. So what do I take away from this? Well, I take a lot away from this. I mean, the whole thing felt like Star Wars to me. The whole thing felt very George Lucas-esque. The music sometimes was just very different from what we would normally, hear in Star Wars. And I was cool with that. I was fine with that. I thought it was pretty sweet. Definitely refreshing and something new. There might be some times where you're like put off by it, but I think it'll grow on you. And, they're really trying to implement the theme of his theme, basically. Whenever he shows up, you hear that chime, that you got to hear it to see it. It's like this Western spacey kind of feel, with mixed with Gladiator and Game of Thrones. It's really nicely done the way it is. And the CGI was interesting. It was great. I mean, it almost, to me, it almost kind of looked like prequel era CGI, which maybe they were going for. I don't know. But, I mean, yeah. So each episode is $10 million. And with 8 episodes, I mean, you got $80 million for this first season. So I'm expecting the second season to probably be even more expensive. But dude, it was great. Like, I really liked it. I got nothing bad to say about it. Maybe, no, you know what? It's building a story. So, like, I don't even feel like the first one was too slow. I feel like it was good. Like, it hit home. It starts off quick and you're captivated. And that's the main thing. When you're telling a story, you're doing a story. You want the viewer, at least in my opinion, to be grabbed within the first 10 to 15 seconds, especially in today's time where, everyone's got ADD or something like that. So, attention span is very, very slow. We're always on our phones. We always have instant access to things. So we want to know if, something is worth watching to stick around. Otherwise, there's so many things taking our attention. And this one grabs you immediately. You're in it. And it literally feels like George Lucas was part of this. And the reason because of that is because he was. So he was part of the first season. Along with Jon Favreau and, of course, the legendary Dave Filoni, who was part of episode 1. So, big thumbs up for me. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to see where this goes. It ties into so much of the prequels and the originals with that even if the Yoda species wasn't in there, it ties into that so much. So, I would give it a big thumbs up. Go watch it. I subscribed for a year. I'm good. Like, I'm very excited for all of this stuff. They're going to make an absolute killing, and I think they deserve it because this show is a banger. It's good. Now, as for where this Yoda species came from, I don't know. It could have come, 10 to 15 years before episode 1. It could have been an accelerated birth, maybe like the clones did. Maybe Palpatine cloned Yoda somehow. Or, Yoda got freaky, sometime during the prequels. I don't know. So I guess we're going to have to wait and see. And of course, Yoda isn't the only Yoda species. And I say that because we don't actually know what species he is. This has never been revealed in Star Wars. We've never seen a baby Yoda. That's it. Like, we've only on screen seen 2, Yoda and Yaddle. And after episode 1, Yaddle was poof. She was yodeled. So not Yarailed, because that's another Jedi Master. He's very cool. Long neck dude. Kind of looked like a Q-tip. So, dude, yeah, before I ramble on, just go watch it. Big thumbs up. Hope you have a good day. Let me know what you think about this episode if you saw it, or the review in general, down in the comments below. Throw a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, Jedi Fallen Order, this Thursday night, premiere, 9:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So stay tuned for that. Also, that book with the Luke's Point of View book that I made like a whole bunch of videos on, which were like sick videos because everything's from his point of view, that comes out today as well. So it is 2:30 a.m. I'm going to go edit this video, wake up, get that book for you guys. I've got it pre-ordered, so it should be at my door. Hopefully. Hopefully. If it's not, I'll have to go out and buy it, ahead of time. Anyways, love you guys. Chat you later. See ya. Oh yeah, may the Force be with you. You'd think the 3.5 years I'm doing this, you'd think I'd know how to outro by now, but I don't. I'm still buzzing from the episode. It was pretty good. All right, catch you later.